Hello, everyone. My name is Jimmy, and thank you so much for joining us here once again at the Wrestle Dream Project. If you could please hit that like, a comment, subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it as you join us on this journey we like to call pro wrestling. Today, I bring you your Smackdown review and recap of what transpired in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on March 7th, 2025.
I take back everything I said to you. You didn't mean anything to me. I fell so deep in love with you. I will have you on my mind every day.
Smackdown kicks off with the Viper Randy Orton coming out and addressing the Philadelphia crowd and to speak on what transpired between him and Kevin Owens. Basically, he starts off mentioning John Cena. Obviously, John Cena, heel turn. Like we don't know. The company putting like Videotrons every 5-10 minutes. Videos like of what happened. Yeah, we get it. John Cena's a heel now. Fantastic. Let's go number 17. And now we get to Kevin Owens. He mentions Kevin. He mentions how he sees his come up, the way he worked his butt off to get to where he is in the WWE. And again, building block into this promo. As we move on to the next part, he mentions his feuds. His main eventing WrestleMania with none other than the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And his problem with Sami Zayn. And each little fact or thing he says regarding Kevin is just building and building and building, as this promo was top notch. Randy came in and let it be known that he and Kevin are going to do battle, and it will be great. And the final touch to this promo was when he let us know that the old Viper will be making a return, as he will be the first and best punter in the WWE, with obviously Pat McAfee coming in second. Great promo, great start for the show, and let's go. Kevin versus Randy, WrestleMania. The first match of the night is Piper Niven versus Tiffany Stratton. And guys, this was a really good match. Both women showing what they do best, going back and forth, great spots. Piper Niven with the Rolling Thunder right outside the ring, executing and landing it perfectly. Then we get back in the ring, going back and forth. Tiffany Stratton putting her gymnastics background on display, taking the fight to Piper. And we get a fantastic finish with the prettiest moonsault, closing it off. Tiffany Stratton, your winner. But Tiffany can't celebrate too early, because right behind her is her challenger for her title at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair attacks her, attacks that leg that's been bugging Tiffany, and it's terrible for Tiffany. She is not in a good situation, and Charlotte Flair, knowing that injured leg, targeting it, does further damage by hitting a figure 4, figure 8 leg lock on Tiffany. It was just painful. The champion was in pain, and it closes off with Charlotte on top. As we know, things are heating up in this feud as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania. We move on to the next match of the night, and it's a triple threat #1 contenders match. The winner will either take on the Street Profits or DIY for the tag team titles. And guys, I was really confused at the start, because usually in a triple threat match, all 3 participants are in the ring. But in a tag team one, I'm guessing from what I saw, it's only 2 teams or so are in the ring, I guess, at a time. I don't know. I was so confused. But I guess I started picking things up right after the beautiful moonsault by Los Gatos to take us to commercial break. And what can I say? It was a treat. A lot of teams, both teams showing off what they can do. And it was a nice finish. Pretty Deadly coming out victorious. And we wait and see what happens next week to see who will be Pretty Deadly's opponent for those tag team titles. But great match. And things are picking up for the tag team division on SmackDown. Now we hear from Bianca and Naomi. Bianca comes out addressing the Philadelphia crowd, and the question still remains. Naomi, did you do it? And after a bit of talking, she calls out Naomi, and Naomi comes out, still with the neck brace. Obviously, she's hurt. And Naomi comes, and they talk, and Bianca only wants to know one thing. Did you do it? And Naomi, dodging the question, not really dodging, but maneuvering around it, saying other things. Usually, when someone is lying or trying to avoid to answer a certain question, they'll do that. Typical small tactics. But eventually, Naomi does tell the truth, and she does it. She did it. She did it. She's the one who attacked Jade. And this segment was powerful. The tears rolling down both women's eyes just shows how serious the situation is. And Bianca has had enough. She can't be a part of this, especially after Naomi took out her tag team partner. She walks out, but Naomi just doesn't let her get the last word. She insults her and explains her actions. But then right after that, Jade Cargill comes in her car, well, comes out of her car, and she comes to the ring, stares down Bianca, and she goes and attacks Naomi. And it's vicious. Naomi tries to get away, tries desperately to get away, running into the other side, outside of the ring, and she just can't. Jade grabs her, takes her back into the ring, and immediately just starts punching her and putting her away with her finisher and standing on top. Guys, this was a great segment. The tears really showed me the emotions that both women felt and just how serious the issue is. And who knows, we may be leading on to a WrestleMania match between Jade and Naomi as Bianca prepares to take on Io for the women's title. But great segment nonetheless, and looking forward to where this feud goes. We move on to the next match of the night, and it's Braun Strowman, a big SOB, versus none other than Solo Sikoa. And finally, Solo's been absent for quite a while, ever since he took that loss to Roman on the Netflix premiere of Monday Night Raw. And it was a good match up until the disqualification. Both guys went back and forth, going over the top rope. Braun hurting himself with the stairs, and it was good, but eventually all good things have to come to an end. Tama Tonga comes in, attacks Braun Strowman, making a disqualification, and Tama Tonga really cannot stand toe-to-toe with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman makes quick work of him, and, well, what do you know? The Wolf, Jacob Fatu, comes out, and we get a confrontation between both gentlemen, and this was great. Now, honestly, that was more entertaining than the match itself. These guys, they really don't like each other. They're just going at it, throwing shots, and we get to the crowd. And I know that Philadelphia crowd was rowdy. They were enjoying that action that was moving on into the crowd, a more personal, intimate experience. And we finally get to the part where they're both on top of like something I guess to set up the stage or whatnot. It's like a box. They get up, and we already know what's about to happen. Someone's gonna be falling off there. We don't know who yet, but finally we get our answer. Braun Strowman throws Jacob off of there onto tables, and he is standing tall in the end. But the one insane thing is that Jacob Fatu is still fighting his way up, just getting back up almost as if nothing happened. The Wolf at times does not feel human, and I'm really hoping this feud continues, because this would make for a great match. Braun versus Jacob Fatu next. One-on-one should be the way to go. But overall, decent match. Better moment after the match. We arrive to a street fight between Chelsea Green and Michin for the Women's United States Championship. And guys, this was a good match. Both women throwing everything they got at each other, trying to inflict as much pain as they can to one another. The use of weapons was perfect. You have chains, you have garbage cans, you have a fire extinguisher? Quite intriguing. You even were able to get a Piper Niven interference, but ultimately BFAT came in to level the playing field and just just as we thought Michin was about to do it, she was about to capture gold, a masked assailant comes in and attacks her and basically hands the win over to Chelsea Green. And at first, we're all wondering, okay, what's going on? Who is this person? And as they unmask, it's Alba Fire. And little did we know that Chelsea Green had a backup plan in case Piper Niven wasn't going to be there to back her up. And I just got to say, Chelsea is not dropping that title anytime soon. Well, at least not on a Smackdown. But this title, it's good, but it's time we move on to another feud. Michin's great, but after a number of matches, it's time to give someone else a shot. We get to the man of the hour, Cody Rhodes, to talk about what happened at the Elimination Chamber. And he tells us how he feels. He tells us about what his daughter asked him. Like, asking him how did he get his injuries. Talking about the watch that was his father's being used to inflict pain on him. And his relationship with John Cena. Mentioning all these things, this deeper connection with the man right there. And it was a good promo. It was emotional. And you can see the pain in Cody's eyes as he was letting out word for word for word on that mic. And we know how serious this is. But Cody finishes it off, letting them know that if they want some, to come get some. Cody is not down for the count just yet. And guys, things are heating up as we get to WrestleMania, as we get to their match. What can I say? Great segment. And looking forward to their first confrontation when John Cena is back on Raw in a week or so. Up next, Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso, Big Jim. It was a good match, but what happened. Drew McIntyre picks up the win. Big Jim always shows he's always got something in the tank. He was putting up a fight, but he was no match for that Claymore that came out of nowhere as Drew picked up the victory. But as Drew McIntyre was walking away, he comes back and tries to inflict more damage on Jimmy. But what do you know? What do you know? Damian Priest comes and attacks him to get his revenge of what happened earlier that night. And it was satisfying to see what happens when you do damage onto others. But Damian Priest stands tall, and we know now that this could be an eventual feud that will lead into WrestleMania between both gentlemen. Finally, guys, we have arrived. It is the main event. It is LA Knight, versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. And it wasn't a barn burner, but it was a good match. It was a really good match. You had each gentleman throwing everything at each other. You had basically, Shinsuke looking for a second that, he's going to come out on top. And we get the introduction of a chair. And I thought for a second, this might end disqualification. Just a slight chance. But it doesn't. Charles Robinson, the ref, trying to stop the chair from being used, pries it out of the hands of Nakamura, sets it aside, I'm guessing, or puts it somewhere. And then as the match progresses, LA Knight is about to accidentally hit Charles in the corner of the turnbuckle. But luckily he avoids that. But then Shinsuke, with his red mist, aiming for LA Knight, sprays Charles. And Charles, he spazzes out, rolls over. He can't. He is in pain with that mist. And so now with no ref, Shinsuke tries to find a way to win and looks to pick up the pinfall. But with no ref, there's no count. And then, as things progress, they get back up, going at it again, and finally, the satisfying BFT by LA Knight, yeah, is hit. And LA goes for the pinfall. And LA goes for the pin. And we just wait. We wait. And a ref runs out. Counts to 1, 2, 3. And we have a new United States Championship. United States Champion. LA Knight. Yeah. And a satisfying end to a great show. Smackdown hasn't been at its best these last couple weeks, but this week was a bit different. You had Randy Orton come, you had Cody come, and you had this great finish to a fantastic show. And don't get me wrong, love Shinsuke Nakamura, but his title reign was not good. And it was time to give that title back to the megastar, as he can take this title to new heights. Overall, this was a great show. It's probably one of the best Smackdowns that's happened lately. And looking forward to the next one. Thank you guys for joining us here at the Wrestle Dream Project. We can't wait to see you at the next one, and we hope you take care. Thank you, and bye.
Maybe be a friend. Party to sunrise.